Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca, and before anything else, I would like to greet each and every one of you. Welcome to the show. If you're a first-time listener, I hope that you learned something from this episode and you check out the other episodes as well, because they have a lot of tools and techniques that can help you make better decisions for yourself and for the people around you. And if you haven't subscribed yet to my newsletter, I hope that you send me your email after you listen to this episode so that you can get first access to the content that I'll be producing for the week. Essentially, it's just an added source of some inspiration, some motivation for you guys to help you guys get through the week. And I wrote in the newsletter this specific topic. So if you want to try to consume this topic, the newsletter has reached 200 plus subscribers. So thank you so much for the people who have signed up, and I'm really grateful for each and every single one of you. Now, today we are going to talk about focus. And I believe that this is essential. And this is very critical to your success. Because in order for you to create meaningful work, you need to be able to focus on your work. Right? I really believe that every single one of us wants to be productive at something, right? If we have a goal, if we want to have better grades, then we need to be able to focus on studying. If we want to have a better body, then we need to be able to focus on our workout. If we want to be the best salesman in our company, then we need to be able to produce the best work that we can produce. And so I really believe, especially in this time where there's so much information that comes into our life, and I really believe that we live in a society, in a modern society, where one of the biggest challenge that we have is being able to focus on what truly matters. Because we're getting overloaded with information that's not really essential to our success. And we need to be able to slim down, trim down, to cut all these distractions that we have so that we can focus on what can truly get us to our success. And and as I've said, all the knowledge that we have, it's basically available everywhere. We can learn about the history of Vikings, which I was heavily invested on after watching Vikings. If we want to learn about science, philosophy, religion, math, anything that we want to do, we can even learn when's our neighbor's birthday or what food did he have for lunch, right? We can easily access information to the things around us just by the press of a finger. And although this is a very important facet for our advancement as humans, this is a double-edged sword, because with this comes the thing called some researchers told us that we live in an attention deficit society, where most of us don't know what to focus on because our attention is everywhere. We just don't know what to focus on. And we need to find a way to try to get back on the track. Because honestly, if you've noticed, I said that I'll be doing this every single day, but I haven't, because apparently my focus is nowhere to be found. I'm focusing on the wrong stuff. Let me rephrase that. My focus is not nowhere to be found. My focus is everywhere. I keep focusing on the wrong stuff. I kept on playing games. I kept on watching Netflix. I put my attention and my focus to the things that's not really essential to my goal, right? And I wanted to create this podcast so that we can talk about some of the things that can help you become more focused. And before we actually go into that, I want to share with you an interesting statistic that I learned from watching one of the TED Talks about focus. And I learned that our brain essentially goes into 4 different states. First is we go into our brains think about the past. 12% of the time, our brain spend time thinking about the past ideas, the past experiences, some memories, and some feelings. We try to recall some feelings that we have gone through, right? So 12% of the time, we think about the past. And 28% of the time, we think about the present. We think about the now, what we see, what we hear, what we feel, what we essentially think at that time, right? So we focus on the now, we focus on the present. But that's only 28% of the stuff. So if you think about 12%, 28%, that's 40%. So 40% of the time we think about our past and our present. And our brains go into the state where we think about the future for 48% of the time. That's more than thinking about the past and the present combined. And it's not a absolutely bad feature. I mean, being able to daydream and imagine things is what makes us unique. It's what makes us different from other people. Is we can try to think about scenarios that has not even exist. We can theorize. We can hypothesize what's gonna happen, what might happen. But that again is a double-edged sword, because if we spend most of our time thinking about the future, which is not guaranteed to happen, right? If we spend like 50 minutes on our showers, in the shower, thinking about how the day would be, we can never really tell if that would be the way how our day would proceed, because the future is something that is not guaranteed. As much as we want to imagine how it would be, it's gonna be a totally different experience, because there's a lot of variables that we need to consider. But if we think about it, we spend 48% of the time thinking about the future. Isn't that really counterproductive? Like, if we can't focus on the task at hand, because the truth is, the only thing that we can control is the now. The past is already gone. The future is not guaranteed. But the now is a gift. That's why it's called present, right? The now is something that we can control. And we need to be able to focus on the now. We need to bring back ourselves to the now, because truthfully, this is a very alarming statistic. It's like because this statistic shows that our brain wanders into something that we can't control, something that we have not sure that we're gonna face. We create scenarios that's not gonna probably exist. And if we want to create meaningful work, if we want to be productive, then we need to shift back our focus to the now, to the present. And hopefully, the tips that I'm gonna share with you guys, hopefully this can help you be more aware, so that you can shift your focus to the now, to the present, and let go of the past and not think too much about the future. Okay? And let's talk about 5 different ways to help you stay focused. And I'm going to start off with number 1. Number 1 is we need to drop our goals. Whoa, Alec, we're going to drop our goals? But I thought goals are essential. Goals are important. Yes, goals are important. But goals are only meant for you to know which direction you're going to choose, which direction you're going to go. Goals are meant to set you on the right path. But, for example, a shooter who tries to shoot the bullseye in the firing range, right? His goal is to shoot the bullseye. Will he think about the goal? Will he focus about hitting the goal? Now, what's going to happen if I hit the goal? What am I going to do with the money once I win this competition? What am I going to say once I hit the goal? What am I going to say if I don't hit the goal? We focus too much on our goal, and we unconsciously go into the state where we think about the future. Because hitting the goal is something that is not yet guaranteed, or not hitting the goal is something that is not yet guaranteed. So if we focus on the goal, it's going to be counterproductive to us. Which is why I want you, if you want to stay focused, drop your goal and focus on the process. Focus on the things that you already know. Mimic the habits that got you to where you are right now. Go into the state where you focus on the now. Drop your goal and focus on the process. When you do this, this allows you to maximize your efficiency, because your goal might be an inspiring way to look at it. If you look at it, you might think that your goals are very inspiring. It's what keeps you motivated. But your goal is another distraction from your work. Again, if we want to make meaningful work, we need to be able to focus on the now. So we got to drop our goals and focus on the process instead. Focus on the angle that you're going to shoot your shot. Focus on, for example, if you're a student and you wanna get high grades, will you focus on the high grades? What will I say? Will you focus on the future state where you brag about your high grades? How will you react when you get high grades? How will you react if you don't get high grades? Right? If you focus on those stuff, which is something that that's not gonna be how you imagine it to be, you're gonna get lost. You're gonna spend your time thinking and focusing on something that will be counterproductive to you, right? And productivity, hindi ko nasabi kanina, I didn't say earlier, but I feel like productivity is being able to produce more work with regard to the amount of time, which is being productive, right? Means that we need to find a way to maximize the output of our work with regards to the amount of time and energy that we use. And essentially, time and energy is two of the most important, probably the most scarce resource that we have, right? Our time and our energy. And if we want to be productive, and if we're trying to be productive, we're looking for a way that our time and energy and effort don't go to waste, right? So if we want to be more productive, then we gotta stop focusing on what's gonna happen. Instead, focus on what's just happening, because the truth is, that is the only thing that you can control. We always say that focus on what you can control. Don't focus on the things that you can. We always hear that cliche, but some of us, and most of us, including me, especially me, get lost in our thoughts, because our thoughts are really amazing, at the same time very complicated, right? But if we want to get back on track, we need to bring ourselves to the present. So drop your goals and focus on the process, right? Don't focus on getting the high grades. Focus on studying. Don't focus on having the six-pack abs, what your caption is going to be when you have six-pack abs. Focus on your sit-up. Focus on your reps, right? Don't think about what you're going to do with the 1 million pesos that you will have once you become successful. Focus on selling the product or the service that you are selling right now. Drop your goal and focus on the process. That's number 1. Number 2 is limit your input. Or in other words, cut out your distractions. And yes, I am talking about your phone. Your phone might be the best indicator for the advancement of the human race, but it's really something that distracts us from producing meaningful work. If we want to be more productive, then we gotta limit what's going into our brains, what's going into our minds, so that we can focus more on what we put out, right? If you want to focus on our outputs, we got to limit our inputs. And what I'm talking about is basically you need to stop reading all the news about what's happening in the world. I'm not saying like totally be apathetic and don't really and stop giving a shit about what's happening in the world, but you got to limit your input, because our brains can only handle so much data. And if we keep on reading all the news that is available to us, our brains will be overloaded. And we can't really focus if we are thinking about what's happening with the president of the United States, what's happening with our favorite basketball team, what's happening in your crush's lives, diba? You need to be able to limit your input. And one way to do that is to stop reading all the news, stop watching all the stories on Instagram. You don't need to learn, you don't need to know what your friend from high school did. You don't need to know what your friend from college ate. You got to be able to limit your input. What's going into your mind, you got to restrict it, right? Because if we keep on pouring water into our mugs, we keep on pouring information in our brain, eventually it will become full. And once it becomes full, we can't really access the data, the information that we need to create meaningful output. So what you need to do, and this is easily the most practical advice that I could give you, is to stop looking at your phone. Turn off all your notifications. I've done this like for the past week. And honestly, I'm not going to sugarcoat you on this, but it got me more anxious, to be honest, because I had this FOMO, or fear of missing out on what's happening to our world. But you know what I realized? That anything that is on social media, like give it 2 days. We feel like everything's urgent. Everything, we need to access every single information at the release of that information. We need to be able to know about this as it has just been released. We need to know instantly. But the truth is, if you give it 2 days, eventually the things that are important to you, you'll be able to read it after 2 days because they're still there, right? But if we are constantly on our phone, we can't really control what's coming, what are the things that we are gonna see. So I suggest that if you're trying to focus on studying, if you're trying to focus on your work, stop spending time on social media. Turn off all your notifications and just provide yourself with a limited time accessing your social media accounts. And I'm not saying that you should like eradicate the use of social media accounts. Of course, it can be beneficial for you to take a detox, and we're going to talk about that later. But all I'm saying is that don't check your phone every 5 minutes. Don't check your phone every 10 minutes, right? Use it as a reward after you've done 1 hour of amazing work. Use it as a reward after you've done the work that you need to do. Stop spending time on your social media account. It does not help, right? You might feel you might feel that you're gonna miss out, but you're not gonna miss out. What's essential to you, will come to you no matter what is going to happen. So instead of trying to allow everything to come into your mind, limit your input. Yeah, you're probably listening to this podcast on your phone. So please, if I'm not saying that you don't use your phone. If you use your phone listening to music, that's fine. That's another way to increase your focus. Actually, there's a study that said that if we listen to music, we can actually focus more, but we need to listen to music that we like, music that we already know, so that we don't need to think about the lyrics or what we're hearing. But and it should be on a minimum volume. It doesn't need to be as loud as we want to. But yeah, the research showed that having a music that we're familiar to, that we like, and on a very minimal music volume can actually help our focus. So if you're using your phone with using your phone as that, like if you're using your phone for the music to help you get more focus, it's okay. What I'm saying is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and probably YouTube, and even email, right? Those things are not essential for you to focus. So please drop them. Don't check them every single second. Okay? Okay, so number 3 is unitask. Okay? There is no such thing as multitasking. Our brains are made to focus on one thing and one thing only, right? You've probably heard that I'm a good multitasker. No. Multitasking is a myth. You cannot multitask. If you think that you're multitasking, what you're actually doing is you're just unable to focus on one thing only. Your focus is scattered among a lot of things. All right, so you're really not focusing. And there was a study, there was an experiment that researchers asked a group of people. They put up a picture with 3 figures, right? And some people were asked to just memorize one figure. Some people were asked to memorize 2 figures. Some people asked to memorize 3 figures. And apparently, the studies concluded that when you are going to focus on just one thing, the results will become more attractive. You will produce more quality results. So if we want to be more focused, we need to just focus on one project, on the thing that we are just doing. Stop focusing on all the project. I know you're a busy man and you have a lot of things to finish, but focus on just one task so that you can provide quality performance and very efficient output. And then once you're finished, you move on to the next one. Right? There is no such thing as multitasking. Yeah, there was a study from Stanford, 2009, in a sample of 100 students. Half of them identified themselves as multitaskers, and half of them did not label themselves as multitaskers. And the test examined memory capacity, attention spans, ability to switch from one task to the next one, and the results concluded that the multitaskers performed more poorly on every single test. Our brains are meant to focus on one thing. And if we think that we're multitasking, we're just trying to make it harder for our brains. Okay, so stop multitasking, focus on one task and one task only. And once you're finished, move on to the next. That's my 3rd tip. Number 4 is you need to relax. You cannot be focused if you're not relaxed. If you want to relax, if you want to focus your mind, if you want to have that mentality that is focused, you can manipulate that by making your body more relaxed. There's a lot of ways to do it. One thing that I would like to recommend is breathing. Okay, I want you to do this exercise with me, okay? I want you to take a deep breath at a count of 3, okay? I want you to take a deep breath, and hopefully, and as much as possible, I want you to feel the air reach the bottom of your lungs, okay? Okay, so take a deep breath with me. 3, 2, 1. And release through your mouth. One more. Take a deep breath. Release through your mouth. And just by doing that, we can feel that our mind becomes clearer. We feel the oxygen reach the top of our heads, and it just feels lighter. And so breathing allows us to feel more relaxed, and it will help us focus more on the task at hand, because we're feeling less anxious, we're feeling less pressured, we're feeling less stress if we relax our bodies. And breathing, there are so many videos out there that could help you with your breathing. Consciously choosing your breath, choosing to breathe deeply so that you can become more focused, helps you a lot. And there are some other ways that you can be more relaxed. You can pray. A lot of people can also do meditation where they sit in a quiet place and just clear their thoughts and again focus on their breathing, right? So, but if you have a lot of time to spare, I really suggest that you try meditation, but focus on your breathing. You can pray. You can listen to a very calm music. You can take a walk. There are different forms where you can relax. It differs from one person to another, but I want you to understand that you need to relax your body and relax your mind so that you can focus on what you need to do. So that's the 4th tip. And this 5th tip, and this is probably a bonus tip, is and I'm gonna be probably contradicting some of the things that I said earlier. But if you've tried all of these tips and it doesn't work, it still didn't work, I want you to wander. Not all who wander are lost. And it's such a shame that in this society we don't allow ourselves to wander, to actively daydream, to just relax our mind and allow our minds to go through different phases and just wander. And you can't wander if you're in the same environment, if you're thinking about the same thoughts. I want you to go in a different setting and just allow yourself to soak in that moment and just experience the feeling or that particular moment. We've heard about the different successes that the ideas for their success came from a moment that they didn't expect, right? A lot of us know different stories that after they allow themselves to wander, whether they go to the beach or they hike on a mountain, or Jesus went to the desert to wander, to meditate, and it cleared his mind. He became more focused on his goal. And I want you to allow yourself to wander. And if you have the time and the luxury to do, please do. I want you to set time for your mind to actively wander, not think about any pressure, not think about because you need to think, and just experience the moment, right? Some of the best ideas that we will think that we will have is from the most unexpected places. That's why I for most of the time I keep a small notebook with me, or a notepad, or the notes from my cell phone, because when I'm working out, when I'm walking to the convenience store, when I'm riding my motorbike, those are the times that I let my mind wander. And when I let my mind wander, I get these topics, these ideas for the podcast, for the content, for how could I improve my life. So if the 4 tips didn't actually help you, I want you to wander, to allow yourself to wander, to set specific time for you to actually just relax your mind and allow yourself to wander. Okay? So that's 5th tip. And those are the tips that could help you get more focused. I hope. Oh my gosh, I didn't know that I'm talking for 30 minutes now. Okay, I gotta finish this. But I hope those tips actually help you. If you like this episode, please share this on your Instagram. And don't forget to tag me at Small Talk Podcast. And if I really, really love your insights, then I will send you a t-shirt, a grateful t-shirt that is that I'm gonna pay for the shipping fee as well. But if you love this, if you like this podcast, if it connected with you in any way possible, please share it on your social media accounts, on Instagram. Do not forget to tag me at Small Talk Podcast and keep on sharing. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, then can I please get 5 minutes of your time and just leave a rating and review? It helps the podcast a lot. So yeah, thank you guys so much for still hanging out with me after 30 minutes. I hope that it helped you. I hope these tips actually made sense, and I hope that you use this. Again, lastly, before we actually finish this, I want to tell you that focus is a skill. It's not a talent. Some people are talented at focusing, but it's actually a skill. And skills can be harnessed through practice. If you keep on putting the repetitions for you to focus, you will get better at it. So please practice your focus. Put in the time, put in the work, put in the energy, and try to follow the tips that I shared with you guys. Okay, so thank you again so much. My name is Alec Cuenca, and this is Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. I hope you guys have an amazing week ahead of you. And please do not forget to subscribe to the newsletter. Send me your emails on Instagram. And yeah, I love you guys. Talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye.